Do you enjoy the harvest of Missouri through food, fuel, or fiber? Interested in strengthening your community or making a difference in the lives of others? You're in the right place. This is Stand for Ag with Missouri Farmers Care. Join us for thoughtful conversations around the intersections of farmer, rancher, and consumer interests. Grab a seat, press play, and join the conversation.
Welcome back to Stand for Ag. This is Emma Alexander, your Missouri Farmers Care Outreach Specialist. The Leopold Conservation Award Program recognizes and celebrates extraordinary achievement in voluntary conservation by agricultural landowners. This program shares the story of conservation-minded farmers, ranchers, and forest landowners to inspire countless other landowners to embrace opportunities to improve soil health, water resources, and wildlife habitat on their working land. It also builds bridges between agriculture, government, environmental organizations, industry, and academia to advance the cause of environmental improvement on private land while helping the general public to understand the vital role private landowners can and do play in conservation. Missouri Farmers Care partners with the Sand County Foundation and American Farmland Trust to annually present this prestigious honor. Just a couple of weeks ago, during the 50th Missouri Governor's Conference on Agriculture, representatives from the Sand County Foundation and agriculture partners, including Missouri Soybeans, Missouri Corn, American Farmland Trust, and the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service, were proud to announce Cope Grass Farm as the 2023 Leopold Conservation Award winner. Today's story is about the Cope family operation, the conservation practices they are utilizing on their farm, and the beneficial results that their family farm enjoys.
The history of our operation, I'm the fourth generation of this family. I grew up right here. This is my mother's house. Quarter mile up the hill is where my great-grandparents had a log cabin when they homesteaded the place. So we've been here the whole time. Other than a 4-year vacation called college, that's where I went. So I grew up. This farm has always been a mixed livestock and grain farm, generally heavy on the livestock, and that's what we were. And I'm relatively mechanically incompetent. I like animals and I get along really well with them. So I'm not a grain farmer. What little bit of that we do, we have custom done for us.
Harry Cope and his wife Rose, along with their children Sabrina and Dustin, operate their family farm near Truxton in agri-ready Montgomery County.
Sabrina was deciding that she wants to be a farmer. I'm really tickled to death at that. Didn't think it would happen. You know, Dusty's autistic. He's not going to be able to manage it, but he can do an awful lot of it, and he likes it, except when I mess up his routine.
Here's Sabrina's perspective.
I've been here my entire life, and really, farming is really all I've ever known. And conservation was always kept in mind, and all these conservation efforts, like, to me it seems normal, but I know on other farms it's not as normal.
Harry intentionally began conservation efforts in 1985.
The best overview of the practices that we've got in place is from the grain, what little grain farming we are a lot of no-till. We have some terraces. Waterways, we have some tile outlet terraces. From the grain farming point of view, that's about what we do there. Most of the conventional things to do. We do some cover cropping, and then when it comes to the pastures, we do intensive grazing. We've got these really diverse native pasture mixes that we've seeded down. We're grazing our grain crops with our animals instead of harvesting them with a machine. We're doing our best to close the loops of all those things, the timber stand improvement in the woods. We're trying to improve our water cycle as much as we possibly can with the ability to get water to go into the soil, not off. And then we're trying to kind of close the loop of the mineral cycle as much as possible.
By managing the grazing on the farm, Harry uses forages to keep soil in place on highly erodible land. No-tilling, cover crops, and native plantings have helped the Cope family develop a unique rotational grazing system.
The benefits of rotational grazing are quite a few. The only drawback is your time. you get a lot more production out of your pastures. You'll tend to get better performance out of your animals because their diet tends to be more even and more uniform. And the other thing that's of importance is that your production of your forages and your water cycle in your pasture is so much better because you don't have overgrazing. When you got overgrazing, you've got short roots. You got short roots, you got a problem. It's just over the years, rotational grazing makes your pasture so much stronger. You'll get a much more diverse stand of plants out there.
Programs such as EQIP and RCPP have made it possible for Cope Grass Farms to diversify their grasslands, and their timber has improved by using CSP. The results are amazing. Because of improvements in the health of their timber, the farm is home to a robust bat habitat, and they have increased acorn production.
The timber stand improvement is the concept of thinning out the trees. Almost all of the forest land and timber in the state of Missouri is terribly overpopulated, way overpopulated, like almost 80% over. It's unbelievable how much it is. And from what we learned from the foresters is that if we will thin these trees out and not try to go to a pure stand of white oak or something like that, but keep the diversity in the timber, but thin those trees out, they'll produce more board feet of lumber per acre per year by being thinned down than if they are to be too thick. And that's what timber stand improvement is it's thinning it out and managing our timber. And I was reading an article yesterday, it was about how old most of Missouri's forests are suffering from being too old. We got a lot of black oak and red oak in these forests, and those are relatively short lifespan trees, 70 to 90 years. Well, they're getting old. And the older they get, the more susceptible they are to what they call decline and things like that. So they need to be, the forest needs to be, and the timber needs to be managed with a goal in mind, not just left alone. And it's no different than these pastures and the forage. If I rest grass too much, it just destroys itself. Nature does not operate in a vacuum. She's going to manage it one way or the other.
Wildlife find a haven on Cope Grass Farms. More than 7 acres have been specifically planted as pollinator habitat. Cope Grass Farms is one of only 7 Missouri farms distinguished as Grassland Friendly Certified by the Audubon Society, which is determined by an audit of the farm each year.
We are certified with the National Audubon Society. We're one of 7 farms throughout the entire state of Missouri that's certified through them. And there's an annual audit, which Audubon has a third party come out and basically do a survey of our pasture ground. And basically how it works is that they get there very early in the morning, and it's kind of like Shazam for birds. They basically just listen to whatever that they can listen for. And they did a study just this past May. That audit that we had this year, it went up 30% from the previous year. So that bump is something that we're really excited to see, because if it went up by 30% in that short amount of time, we're looking forward to seeing what the next audit will have to say and what birds that they hear as well.
It isn't just Harry's willingness to welcome wildlife species or plant diversified seeds across his farm that make his conservation efforts so unique. His stewardship methods play a part. In early summer, when many farmers rush to make hay while the sun shines, Harry patiently waits until July 15th to work with 25% of his warm season pastures. This allows time for native birds to have ample habitat to nest, and as a result, populations of those birds flourish on Harry's land. The Copes utilize unique methods with their grain crops as well.
We regularly give presentations about the benefits of grazing milo during the wintertime. The main benefit that we always kind of tell these other farmers is that it's going to be really cost effective for you, plus it takes less than 5 minutes to move a paddock. We still talk about it, and people are slowly but surely understanding that it does work.
This innovation helps the farm be more sustainable by saving on input costs and reducing carbon emissions. Cope Grass Farms shares their experiences of both successes and failures.
but almost everything that we do, we borrowed from somebody else, or we've seen it done someplace else. And that, it's just, you go borrow ideas, you go see what people are doing. It's like, hey, I can probably do that here. And then get after it and see what you can do. We don't tend to wait around for cost share to try something. We'll use cost share to implement things. We've tried them. Way more than one thing. And there's a lot, we've got a lot of t-shirts in the closet. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I got a lot of t-shirts you don't want. We've screwed up a lot of things, but we've tried them. And it's okay, maybe I did it wrong, but we've tried a lot of things, and there's quite a few things that don't work, and there's quite a few things that do work, and we're sticking to them.
The family hosts public field days, pasture walks, grazing schools, and workshops. Harry is an experienced producer, and the examples he can share are effective tools to spark interest in other producers interested in working with conservation and diversity.
Implementing all these different conservation practices and things that we do, for starters, it's really dropped our cost of production, because I'm not spending near the amount of money on inputs and equipment of anybody around who does what we do. One of the things about our sheep operation, profitability wise, it smokes our cattle operation, because it's completely in tune with the forage system, production cycle, and then it accidentally happens to be completely in tune with the marketing cycle, which never happens in anything else, but it works. It fits in there like that. There's the more on philosophy of farming. To get more, you have to put more on. It's not correct. You can get a lot more by putting on less, by working with nature, than you can trying to beat her into submission.
Just looking across the fence, it may seem that the Copes are investing time to manage their land, but Harry shared their true end goal.
We're producing food, not commodities. And that's what I want to do. That's what I want to see continue. And that's just, I think it's very worthwhile to make it happen.
Cope Grass Farms raises grass-finished beef and lamb, acorn-finished pork, as well as meat birds. They sell the meat that they are raising direct to consumers at local farmers markets. Sabrina serves as the farm's marketing director.
I talk about the benefits of rotational grazing because consumers are becoming more aware that transparency wins over a lot of people. So if you're just honest and you just show, this is what we do, this is what it takes to raise them, and this is what we do on an everyday basis I've showed videos of us planting, I've showed videos of us moving animals around. People, especially consumers, are realizing that maybe that type of farming, it works, and we're able to get nutrient-dense meats for our family and spread along the info to other people that we know.
As a fifth-generation and lifetime farmer, Harry has a great perspective on the agriculture industry to share.
Why do we keep doing this? It's fun, it's interesting, it is not boring. The whole goal, you've heard the statement, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's another line that goes with it. Break it, make it better. And that we kind of live by. It just takes time and effort. I'm old enough that I probably won't see it, but my kids will, my grandkids will. And even if it ain't my kids or my grandkids, it's the next person behind me. It's kind of one of those cases, this ain't mine, it's theirs, we're borrowing it. And just, if I don't do something to make it better, it's gonna be a whole lot like it was in 20 years. It ain't gonna be very good. It's a great way to live, as far as I'm concerned, and we're figuring out ways to make it much more stable and profitable than what it used to be. I mean, it's a challenge, but it's fun to figure it out. And I want to see, we put a lot of time and effort in it. I've been here a long time. I want to see it get better and better and better.
Harry serves as a board member for the Missouri Forage and Grassland Council and the Forage Systems Research Center. Cope Grass Farms participates with the Montgomery County Cattlemen's Association, which is affiliated with the Missouri Cattlemen's Association, a partner of Missouri Farmers Care. Congratulations to Cope Grass Farm for being the 2023 recipient of the Leopold Conservation Award. This family is just one example of so many Missouri farm families who are leading the way in voluntary conservation practices. Sponsors of the Missouri Leopold Conservation Award include Missouri Farmers Care Foundation, Missouri Soybeans, the Sand County Foundation, American Farmland Trust, USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service, and Missouri Corn. For more information about the Leopold Conservation Award, follow the link provided in today's show notes. The links to video, blog, photo gallery, and contact information for Cope Grass Farm can be found there as well. Thank you so much for celebrating agriculture with this episode. Please be sure to join us soon for another episode and more stories about our Missouri agriculture.
Thank you for joining the Stand for Ag podcast with Missouri Farmers Care. We're excited to bring you new stories each week. We as agriculturalists have a lot of stories to tell. Stories of resilience, grit, and stories of families that are united by their passion for agriculture. Each week, tune in for a new episode and join the conversation.